The Christmas tree lot was nearly empty by 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve. Alexander Stone pulled his Mercedes into the lot, checking his watch. He had exactly 30 minutes to buy a tree, get home, and make his conference call with Tokyo. At 36, he'd built Stone Capital into one of the most successful venture firms in the country. But his penthouse had no decorations. No point when you lived alone and worked through every holiday. "We're closing soon," the attendant called out. Alexander was examining a lopsided spruce when he heard it, a small, trembling voice. "Please, mister, please." He turned to find a little girl, maybe 7, standing in the snow wearing a thin jacket with a torn sleeve. Her sneakers were soaked through, her dark hair escaping from a wholly knit hat. She was looking up at the attendant with eyes trying hard not to cry. "Sweetie, I can't just give away trees," the attendant said, not unkindly. "Your mom needs to buy one." "She can't come. She's sick, really sick," the girl's voice broke. "Tomorrow's Christmas and we don't have a tree and she keeps saying sorry, but it's not her fault, and I just want her to have a nice Christmas, just one." Alexander felt something crack in his chest. He saw himself at 7, watching his mother work 3 jobs, no money for extras like Christmas trees, before his father's startup made them wealthy, when Christmas meant his mother crying because she couldn't give him what other kids had. "Hey," Alexander said gently, crouching down. "What's your name?" The girl startled. "Lily." "Hi, Lily, I'm Alex. What kind of tree does your mom like?" "The pretty kind, with lots of branches." Lily wiped her nose. "But we don't have money. Mom lost her job when she got sick, and we had to pay for medicine, and she said maybe next year, but—" Her voice dropped to a whisper. "What if there isn't a next year?" The words hit like a physical blow. "What do you mean? Mom's really sick. The doctors say bad words I don't understand. She tries to smile, but I hear her crying at night." Lily looked at her wet sneakers. "I just want her to have one nice Christmas." Alexander stood and pulled out his wallet, handing the attendant $500 bills. "I'll take that one." He pointed to the fullest, most beautiful tree, a 7-foot Douglas fir. "And lights, ornaments, a stand. Everything you've got." The attendant's eyes widened. "Sir, that's way more than—" "Keep the change. Merry Christmas." Alexander turned to Lily. "Okay, here's what we're doing. I'm going to borrow this tree. Just borrow it, understand? And bring it to your mom. But call her first and make sure it's okay." "Borrow?" Lily's face lit up. After a tearful phone call, "Mom, a nice man wants to borrow us a tree." Alexander loaded everything into his Mercedes while Lily clutched bags of ornaments. "You don't have to do this," Lily said quietly as they drove. "You didn't ask for something impossible. You asked for something simple that should be easy but isn't. Because life's unfair sometimes." Alexander glanced at her. "And you weren't asking for yourself. You were asking for your mom. That takes courage." The apartment complex was run down but clean. Lily led him to a 3rd-floor unit. "Mom, we're here!" The woman who opened the door was maybe 30 but looked older. Thin, pale, dark circles under warm brown eyes. She wore sweatpants and an oversized sweater. When she saw Alexander with the tree, she started crying. "You didn't have to. I can't pay." "You're not paying. Lily's borrowing it, remember?" Alexander smiled. "I'm Alex Stone. May I come in?" The apartment was tiny but spotlessly clean, with hand-drawn pictures taped to walls and library books stacked neatly. "I'm Rachel Martinez." She wiped her eyes. "This is too much." "Mom," he said, "borrowed," Lily interrupted. For the next hour, Alexander Stone, who typically spent Christmas Eve reviewing portfolios, strung lights and hung ornaments with a 7-year-old and her dying mother. Lily narrated stories about each ornament, and Rachel laughed more than she probably had in months. When they plugged in the lights, the tree glowed, transforming the small space into something magical. "It's perfect," Rachel whispered through tears. Alexander should have left. Should have gone home to his conference call. Instead, he asked, "Have you eaten?" Over pizza, Alexander learned their story. Rachel had been a nurse before her cancer diagnosis. Treatment drained her savings, cost her job. Lily was in 2nd grade, honor roll, raised by a mother who read to her every night despite exhaustion. "What happens after Christmas?" Alexander asked when Lily went to the bathroom. Rachel's smile faded. "I don't know. I'm on a waiting list for experimental treatment, but it's expensive. $200,000. Without it?" She didn't finish. "But I'm not asking for pity or money. You gave Lily her Christmas wish. That matters." Alexander pulled out his phone and made a call. "David, I need you to do something December 26th. Rachel Martinez needs to be enrolled in an experimental cancer treatment program. Whatever it costs, my personal account." He listened. "Because I'm the CEO and I said so." He hung up to find Rachel staring, speechless. "What did you can't?" "I can and I did. Consider it borrowing the treatment. Pay me back when you're healthy and working. Take your time. No interest." "That's not borrowing," Rachel sobbed. Lily ran back. "Mom, is it the sad kind of crying or happy?" "The happy kind, baby. The very happy kind." Alexander stayed until Lily fell asleep on the couch holding her mother's hand. At the door, Rachel asked, "Why?" Alexander thought about 7-year-old Alex watching his mother choose between heating and food. About how one person's generosity had made the difference between despair and hope. "Because someone helped my family once. Because Lily asked to borrow a tree for you, not herself. Because that love deserves to be rewarded. Because it's Christmas Eve and I was about to spend it on a conference call, and I think the universe sent me here for a reason." Rachel hugged him. "Thank you for everything. Thank you for reminding me what matters." Alexander canceled his conference call that night. The next morning, he committed $5 million to charities helping families like Rachel and Lily's. 6 months later, Rachel completed treatment and was declared cancer-free. At her remission party, Lily told Alexander seriously, "The borrowed tree worked. Mom says miracles happen when people care." "Your mom's wise. She says you're family now, is that okay?" Alexander's eyes stung. His penthouse was still empty, his schedule packed. But now he had Sunday dinners with Rachel and Lily. Now he had a 7-year-old who called him Uncle Alex. Now he understood that wealth meant nothing if you didn't share it. "That's more than okay, Lily. That's perfect." 2 years later, walking Lily to 4th grade, she said, "I'm glad I asked to borrow that tree." "Me too, kid, me too." Because sometimes a little girl begging to borrow a Christmas tree teaches a billionaire what really matters. And sometimes the best investment has nothing to do with returns and everything to do with returning someone's hope. The tree was never returned. It stayed borrowed permanently, along with Alexander's heart.